It is March 6th, 2023. We have a gorgeous view of the sun, and it is active, 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 snapping, crackling, pop, and we are well on our way to headed toward maximum. And it is all good news. Before we get on with the forecast, I wanted to remind everybody to like, subscribe to the YouTube channel. There is in the future going to be times that I'm in a hurry and I post quick updates and quick forecasts that are only going to have time to hit the YouTube channel. And I won't have time to stop and go through all the hoops that I have to jump through to put them on Facebook. So if you're counting on just Facebook, you might miss something. So go subscribe to the YouTube channel. Looking at our sun, we have our coronal hole is exiting and it is leaving us. We have a real active region that has produced a handful of C-class flares, M-class flares, but it is out of range of doing us much good. And we have our incoming region 3242 that is been stamping, crackling, popping, and it is actually changing shape as we speak and trying to morph into a more active region. And it is going to continue to reform itself. It just let off a really nice flare here um, at the very end of this film here. We have our ropes down here that are coming more and more defined. And this one has, you can start to see the magneticism reaching down into this, and it is becoming more and more defined here and reaching up a little higher off the ground here, or off the surface of the sun. We have had a couple of C-class flares from this region up here, which is 3241. And we have a little more activity coming out of here, 3240. So let's jump over here into our sunspot regions. 3243 is exiting. That's where a lot of our sunspot activity has come from today. And it is so far out of our range that it really is not going to affect us. But this has been producing, and this area is the area you want to watch. And I think all of this is in the process of morphing and developing. Oh, and I was right. 3245 just went delta. And let's get down here. It's a beta gamma. Bipolar sunspot. It is complex enough that there is no line being drawn between the spots of opposite polarity. So in the last hour, and we're going to look at that. So let's go down and look at that one real quick. I was watching this one and working on the forecast, and as I've been working on the forecast, this has developed, and you can see it here. Here is our sunspot region, and you cannot get anything in between the positive and negative charges. And means this is going to get way more active as it's turning in, and this is actively changing shapes. It's a good thing it's turning beta gamma. It means it's going to get a lot more active. Jumping up here, we have had region 3240. It's still a beta class. It has been morphing all day long and changing shapes. Even in the last hour, it's spreading out and changing shapes. It started out with a lot of yellow in between all these little blue spots, and it is starting to spread out, and these yellow spots are starting to congeal into larger yellow spots. This has gotten bigger, this has gotten bigger. These blue spots are starting to congeal into more centralized spots, and I think over time this is trying to turn into a delta class storm. This did produce an M-class flare earlier today, so we did get some minor activity, and it is feeding into this region right here, which is not much to write a home about, but it did produce 2 C-class flares today. We have had a lot of flaring going on today. Since March 6th, we've had an M class, a big 5.7 class that's going to miss us, several C class flares, and maybe 2 of them, 3 of them were aimed in our direction. Most of them are going to miss us. CMEs, we have had several CMEs today. One of them they're classifying as a full halo. And I'm going to, yeah, they're classifying one as a full halo hit, but it's a very weak full halo hit, if anything. And I will show you why I say that. Putting this at the beginning of the morning, you can see here, this is not anywhere as bright as it was the last couple days when we had the corona hole stream hitting us. Yes, we are getting active all the way around the disk, but it's not intense. It's not bright, and we're not getting as much density moving out away from that disk all the way around. You could see lots of C-class flares going on and a lot of flaring going around, but most of it is going to miss us because it's all to one side. This stuff that's coming off this way may hit us. This stuff right through here may hit us. May brush us because I think it's coming from the upper spot. I think it's coming from the 3241, 3242 and moving downwards. So that may have a chance of hitting us. Looking at our west now, we've lost our plasma density with the coronal hole stream exiting. It's no more scoop shovel event. There's nothing going to be really significant. And now we're just down to the velocity of the solar wind streams from the CMEs and flares. And that is not going to be terribly significant. KP4, KP5, I wouldn't be very surprised if it tops the KP5 at all. They are not predicting anything above a KP4, except for tonight, possibly a very weak G1 storm in the middle of the day tomorrow. So it will be fine for like Russia, not so fine for us. Tomorrow night, after dark, we will have our best chance at seeing auroras, and it will likely be clear or partly clear for most of us tomorrow night. Tonight, I doubt anybody but maybe northern Minnesota, maybe Copper Harbor might have a little bit of a clearing, maybe a hole or two here that has some clearing to it, that they might see something. But we are firmly under a very dense cloud pattern, and we have a weather pattern over in the plains area that is sitting there producing a light snow showers. There is another river coming through California that is going to mesh with that system that's in the Dakotas and may produce another snowmaker, and it is going to move through our area through Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, and exit on Sunday. So by Thursday, I do believe By Wednesday or Thursday, northern or Minnesota and Wisconsin should be seeing the effects of that storm by Wednesday or Thursday. By Friday, Saturday, all of us should be firmly into the grips of that storm. And Sunday, hopefully, we will all be clear. Now, I want to look at our forecast here. We are not seeing much of anything going on. And I'm going to put middle latitudes because we're more down in the middle latitudes. We're going to get a KP4, KP5. We're still pretty low in activity. But I heard some good news today, and this should excite everybody. Was a report out, a scientific paper was released saying that they think this cycle is going to double in size by the time it reaches peak. So, as big as the storms have been so far, they're going to get twice as big. So, it's going to be bigger than it was last cycle. We're going to have better storms than we had last cycle. Then they do not predict we're going to get a grand minimum. They predict we're going to see even bigger cycle next cycle. So they're predicting we aren't going to get rid of the auroras for 22 years at least. That we're actually going to keep getting bigger storms as we go through this. So that's the good news. Now I'm going to give you the bad news. Let's go down here and look at the 27-day forecast. And for newbies, let me explain the 27-day forecast. 27-day forecasts are based on coronal hole streams. A coronal hole is a thin spot on the surface of the sun that allows wind to escape. Okay? It is predictable. They will hold up for months at a time and make 27-day circles around the sun without breaking down. We can predict those, and that's what these 27-day forecasts are based on. Are these coronal holes or these thin spots in the sun. We also have sunspots that produce flares and CMEs, which are two different things. A flare produces wind and light. A CME actually releases plasma. They are not predictable. We won't know until they happen. We can know that there's a sunspot there that looks active, but we can't predict them. They can sometimes rapidly develop in minutes and hours and be gone just as quick. So we don't know when those are coming. So when we give you this forecast, this is just on the coronal holes, and a sunspot could crop up in here anytime, any place, and give us a storm that is out of the box. And you always have to be watching. So right now, we have, this is our 27-day forecast. So we've got the 15th and 16th, 17th, 19th, 20th, 26th, and the 30th. Okay, so we have a good share of the month that is really active. And I think we've got some good stuff coming next week. All right. Let's see what Farmer's Almanac has predicted. Now, I'm going to tell you that I don't think this is 100% correct because I can already tell you this that by the 9th, this is already off target. All right, they're saying through the 11th, fair skies followed by showery conditions. Yeah, the 8th, 9th, the fair skies are leaving and we're going to have showery conditions. Through the 15th, yes, I think we're going to have gusty, showery winds. The 16th through the 19th, we're supposed to be clear, which means we might get a chance at some auroras there. And we have a spike coming around the 20th, which I do think we've got a spike there that we might get in a shot, and then we're if that spike in the 26 happens during a clearing period, we've got a shot, but then at the end of the month, we're supposed to be nasty. So we've got nasty, nasty cold weather moving in, and here's the bad news. I know I've been saying, yeah, and I'm not wrong. We got spring coming. We have a cold outlook coming for the next 14 days. We're getting our last blast of winter. And we all know this has to happen. We never get out of spring without that last old man winter being stubborn and trying to have his last hurrah, his last little party. It's going to be colder than normal. Um, Not too bad, near normal for up in the northern regions. I think it's going to be colder than normal for most of the region. I think this is a little off up here. I think it's going to stay colder than normal for most of the region. Um, Willows are red on the willow banks. Willow trees are bright yellow. I see maples turning, I can see the sap running in the end of the maple trees. I have even seen bushes with full buds on them. So take heart. This is the last hurrah. So by the end of March, first few days of April, I foresee that being the end of the really nasty stuff, and we're going to start warming. I do think it will be a cooler and stormier than normal spring, but spring will be here sooner than we think because nature is saying it is. All the signs in nature are pointing out. Somebody was saying even the beetles are coming out. They're seeing the bugs out already, and that means spring is really, really close. So take heart. Keep an eye on the later. This area down here is, I think, going to be our best chance at getting a big storm. Um, I don't think we're there yet. I think our big storm is going to fall somewhere here in the middle. So I'm going to leave you with that. Remember, like and subscribe. There's going to be times that I do not have time to stop and plop something on Facebook. If you're not subscribed, you won't get an email alert that I posted a video, and you're going to miss it. And frankly, Facebook has gotten to the point that it is a pain in the butt for me to be there. It does nothing but waste my time in endless hoops that I have to jump through to post anything and do business there. And it has really become a very unfavorable climate to be there. And I'm not in favor of staying. It really has not helped our organization. It really isn't doing anything for our organization. Whereas YouTube will allow us to monetize our videos, which means every person that likes and subscribes and watches a few minutes of a commercial, we get paid for that. Once we hit 4,000 hours watched and 1,000 subscribers, we're going to start getting money coming in. And that money is going to go straight into moving us forward. I can get the help I need to do the things we want to do, like making aurora hunting maps so that we know exactly where all the bathrooms are, exactly where all the public areas are, exactly where all the 24-hour gas stations are, this sort of thing. Exactly where any place that has camera batteries might be or camera equipment might be when you're traveling. We want to be producing that kind of thing. We want to be making travel videos. We want to be making things that are going to benefit you in the long run and help you with planning trips and doing things so that you have full advantage of doing things, not just in the Great Lakes areas, but we want to start focusing on other areas that you might want to plan trips to. You know, you might want to go down to Utah or Arizona and do some dark sky photography with the stars and some astronomy photography. And we want to make sure you can do that. Maybe you want to go out and do some lightning photography down in Texas. We want to be able to focus on more than just this. And we want to get you more information so when we hit minimum, there are still things to keep you busy. There's still things to keep your mind busy. And there's still things to enjoy. So, please like and subscribe, support us, and help us move forward. Help me hire the staff I need to do the things that I need to do for you because I cannot do it all by myself. It's just too much work for one person. And I will leave it there and say good night.